Hello, I'm Marika Sashiko. Today I'm going to talk about patterns. I've seen lots of questions on the internet from people just beginning, asking where to get patterns, how to transfer them onto fabric. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about that and hope this is helpful. So one thing that you can do is just buy a kit to start off with. On these, the pattern is already onto the material, so all you have to do is start sewing. In another video I am going to talk about these. They're often called samplers or kits because a lot of time they just come with Japanese instructions, so there's a few things that you need to know about them. The main thing is though that this is a water soluble transfer, so if you need to iron it because it's creased when it comes out the package, you don't want to use a steam iron on it. And I usually iron on the back, and what I do is I just will like iron on the very corner, make sure that line's going to stay in place before I start. So there are now though lots of pattern templates that you can buy. They come in various sizes. They're available in lots of different places. I bought a couple locally, but there are several internet places that specialize in Sashiko fabric and thread, and there's a big choice now. That wasn't true when I started. I actually bought some plastic stuff and a little drawing iron and made my own at first, but these are much better to use than that. This kind of one draws a grid. This is for a different kind of a Sashiko that I'll talk about later. Hitomi Sashi, it's based on grids, so but just to show you the different sizes. So if you're looking for patterns, you can look in books. In books, they are usually in the back of the book and given by the author, and they are for people to use. It will usually tell you that you can use them. The best thing to do is just to trace it, and then you have to get it onto the fabric. So on light coloured fabric, marking is really easy. You can just use a light box. If you don't have a light box, I'll often just pin it in place and put it up to a window and trace it there. It's enough light to get it where I can get it onto the fabric. So if you were doing the little pattern, place it on, use your marker to draw the lines. Some of them are straight lines. This particular one is separate stitches, so you know, you could just do your own size stitches, or you could just follow the stitch size on this one. It's already marked out there for you if that's what you want to do. Those stitches are a little bigger than what I like to use, but you know, size is choice. So this particular marker is a friction. I like this. A lot of people say that if you get in very cold climates, that this marking will come back. You actually iron this off when you've finished doing your sewing. They say that the mark will come back. So I have never had that happen to me, but I don't discount what other people say. So for example, if I'm going to sew in pink embroidery, then I use a pink pen as much as possible. And that way, if the lines do ever come back, they're going to be hidden by the stitching, so you're really not going to have a problem with that. So yeah, light fabric is pretty easy. It's much more of a challenge when you move on to using a dark fabric. Let me just lay that out the way. And I do have a dark fabric here, so. And there are several different, I folded it up for too long, it's a bit creased. Several different methods you can use, and some I like better than others. So I'm going to show those, or at least a few of them. Again, you can just use your basic template. The best pen I like to use for this is this ceramic lead pencil. This is a white one. I have it in white and yellow. Both colours show up. There are times when you need to know different colours, so it's handy to have that second colour, but mostly I just use the white. When you draw between the lines, it just appears on your fabric. I'm trying to draw a bit heavily because on the camera it may not show up as well as it does to my naked eye, but that's a good line for me to see to draw on. I like it because it's a really fine, precise line, and I think that's important in Sashiko. And that is one reason why I don't like to use chalk very much, and especially a chalk pencil, which you would think would be a really quick and easy way to transfer patterns. And I'm just going to do this one to show you. And you know, some people may like this, and that's fine. And if you're doing a really simple pattern, it might work better than a more complicated one. But when I take this off the fabric here, you can see that it's a very thick line, which, and I don't like that. You know, I like the precision that the fine line gives you. That's my personal choice. And also, because it's chalk, this brushes off really quickly. So if it's a really simple pattern, it may stay on long enough. But if it's anything more complicated, you're going to be trying to redraw over it almost straight away because the line's going to be gone. And that is true of other kind of chalk pencils as well. I've just bought this Sashiko liner. I'm going to try this and see if it's better. But I haven't actually used this on any work yet, so it's still... It does do a nice fine line. I'm not sure how long it'll last on the fabric. That'll be something to find out. One thing though is that I don't think that it will go, well, maybe it will. Yeah, on this one it does. On another one, if it's a little bit narrow, this end may not go through the line for the pattern. So again, you might like to try it and see what you think. Let me just put that to one side. So you can't obviously use a light box to transfer a pattern from a book. So for this, you need to buy some transfer paper, white transfer paper. I usually call it white carbon paper because that's, to me, that's what it seems like, and I'll often slip up and just call it that. So position your pattern where you want it to be on the fabric. Put your carbon paper down. Usually there's some kind of printing on the, you know, the side that doesn't have the transfer stuff on it, and the other side feels rough and kind of chalky, so you can tell which side is which. Lay that on there. Let's do this little butterfly one here. So the best thing is to pin it in place so it doesn't move. You don't want your lines not to meet up because your fabric has moved. So I'm just going to put one pin in at the top and one pin in the bottom, just to show you today what I'm doing. Ow. When I'm doing this, I like to use just an old biro. Even an empty one is okay, actually. Or ballpoint pens, some people call them. I do like to use one with a different colour because if you draw on the line, then you can tell which area you've already drawn. So if I draw this, you can probably tell, excuse me, when I draw the line that it changes colour slightly. So when I'm doing a whole pattern, you know, you often can't remember which bits you've already drawn over, so this just gives you an extra clue. So to do this, you do have to press really hard, and you'll notice underneath I do have it's actually an old cutting board, because if you do this, you press so hard, you're going to draw the pattern directly onto your wood if you're on a table, so yeah, which wouldn't be good. So I usually do a little, and then I lift up the corner. I'm going to have to take that out for a second, just to see if the pattern is on there. And it looks there like I need to draw a little bit harder than I'm drawing. So I would just go over that again. You really do have to press quite hard. And also, I may have picked a bad spot on this because this, I don't know whether you can see, but this transfer paper has been used multiple times. And, you know, it's great that it's reusable. So, because it's, you know, it costs a little to buy these things. So I'm going to press harder on this and it should show up a little bit better. And you know, if you've used it lots of times and it's not showing up well enough, it's time to break out a new sheet. So all right, so it probably shows up well enough there for me to stitch. This does stay on the fabric quite well, probably better than the other methods. However, if I'm doing lots of stitching, if it's a complicated pattern, I keep my eye on it, and if it looks like the lines are fading, I just take my pencil and just go over it to make sure it's there till the end. And again, by the end of what you're making, like the ceramic pencil, it mostly just fades away with you, so you don't really have to worry about trying to get rid of the pattern once you've finished making it. So you can also use checked material with little spots on, and like design patterns around that. I quite like to do that. It's a good way of using it. Some people like to get a piece of fabric that's got a nice big design picture on it or emblem, and Sashiko around it and around the parts of it, and it makes it stand out, gives it a really effective finish. The best ways though to use some of these are to build a pattern. So you would use lots of smaller templates and just put them together in the design that you want to do. So I've got a few different ones here. So for example, you might want to make that one the bottom one. I didn't really want to take the time to draw all this in to show this, but let me just do this really quickly. Hope I'm still in the picture down here. Maybe I should move it up a little bit. There we go. I really like these little stencils. They make life so much easier. And there's so many varieties you can get. Then the next one you may want to just put here and maybe overlap or not overlap and draw that one in. And then the next one further up maybe. And so that's how you would build your design, with lots of different areas. This is great for making a border, or if you're making, say, table mats, you want to make a border up the side, something like that. Then you can further build your pattern by putting lines. Got a ruler down here somewhere. No, can't find my ruler. I'll just use this as a demonstration. So if you do Sashiko lines at the side, any way you want to. I would actually measure these and draw them in more evenly, and when you're finished and you've Sashiko that, it makes this center stand out a lot more. So yeah, so the best thing is to, you know, play with this on some paper, what you're planning to do, and then you've got an idea before you start drawing all over your fabric and confusing yourself, and just then Sashiko it in place and you're gonna have a pretty good result. And I think that's all for today. I hope that's helped, and thank you for watching Mariko Sashiko. Bye.